Welcome to the TAC Index AI podcast, March 19th, 2026, where we blend TAC IP data, reports, and charts with the latest news and all things logistics with a focus on air cargo. Today, we're doing a deep dive into the data to figure out how a massive geopolitical shock in the Middle East is instantly rewriting global air freight maps and, what that actually means for your wallet.
Yeah, it is a complete chain reaction happening right now.
Right. And if we look at the numbers, like the Baltic Air Freight Index, the BII0, that is essentially the global scoreboard for air shipping, right?
Right, yeah. And it jumped 2.6% just this week, which is a huge shift.
Wow. Even though, year-on-year rates are mostly flat, like down about 0.7%.
Yeah, but that week-on-week data is where the wild spikes really show up because of the Middle East conflict.
Right. The regional data is just crazy. It makes me think of the global air freight network as like a giant balloon. If you squeeze the middle of it, the air doesn't just vanish.
They have to go somewhere.
Exactly. It violently bulges somewhere else. So right now, the conflict, specifically those sudden airspace closures over the UAE, that is squeezing the supply chain.
And the volume that gets forced out of that UAE airspace, it immediately creates bottlenecks in the connected hubs that have to absorb that pressure.
Yeah.
Like India. India is the absolute standout right now.
Wait, really? How much is India up?
Outbound rates from India to Europe and the U.S. have surged a massive 30%.
30%. That is wild.
Yeah, and Frankfurt is up 7.8%. Plus, across Asia, rates are generally climbing. Shanghai saw a 4.9% bump.
But the real cost of rerouting through places like India, it isn't just the extra miles on the map. It is what those planes are burning while they fly.
Exactly, the jet fuel.
Right, because oil just soared near $110 a barrel after that strike on Iran's South Pars gas field. And the TAC index is warning about massive fuel surcharges coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, and that is specifically because the crack spread between crude and jet fuel has completely exploded.
So wait, jet fuel prices have nearly doubled from last year, right?
They have, yeah.
Now, I get that raw crude oil is up, but why does this specific, crack spread matter so much more than just the price of crude itself?
Well, because it basically acts as a double tax on global logistics. The crack spread is essentially the profit margin for refineries.
Okay.
It is the cost difference between raw crude oil and the refined products made from it, like aviation fuel.
Right, so when that spread explodes...
The refining cost compounds the raw oil spike. You aren't just paying more for the raw material. You are paying a massively inflated premium just to turn that oil into usable jet fuel.
Which means planes are flying longer, super inefficient routes while burning fuel that costs twice as much.
Right.
And this aviation fuel crisis is bleeding directly into the broader economy.
Oh, absolutely. It ties straight to the Federal Reserve.
Right, because the U.S. Producer Price Index just hit 3.4%, which was well above expectations.
And as a direct result of that, the Fed just held interest rates at 3.50% to 3.75%.
Yeah, they explicitly cited the global oil spike from the Iran conflict, and they are now projecting inflation at 2.7% by year-end.
Exactly. The central bank is looking directly at this supply chain shock and hitting the pause button on economic relief. The logistics bottleneck is literally dictating monetary policy right now.
It's wild to see those connect, but, we hear politicians like J.D. Vance pointing to these fuel spikes as just a temporary bump.
Right.
But when we look strictly at the logistics data we have, does it actually support a quick return to normal, or are these costs, becoming baked in?
The data suggests a much stickier problem, honestly. You can't just instantly clear those massive backlogs building up at rerouted hubs like India.
Right, because the planes are still taking detours.
Exactly. As long as planes are forced into extended detours, those inflated fuel and operational costs become completely embedded in the supply chain.
So it is not going away anytime soon.
No. The structural shifts we see in the TAC data point to a prolonged reality, not a quick fix that just resolves overnight.
Wow. So next time you click next day delivery on a fast fashion site or order a new pet gadget, remember the data we looked at today.
Yeah, especially since we don't even have sea container data in today's sources to compare the maritime impact.
Right. We are just looking at air freight right now. But if planes are permanently burning $110 oil on inefficient routes, how long can those cheap, instant global shipping models actually survive?
It's going to be a massive pressure test for profit margins.
Definitely something to think about. Until next time.